another experiment, in the very important but very simple experiment. The name of experiment is conductometric estimation of acid mixture using sodium hydroxide. So we can see here today our aim is to find out the amount of acid mixture, estimate the acid mixture. So when you say acid mixture, actually we know it's a mixture of two acids. Okay. So here I am going to take two acids. One is hydrochloric acid, the other one is acetic acid. So what's the difference between these two acids? The first one is hydrochloric acid is a strong acid. Okay. Strong acid means you know very well it undergoes complete dissociation. Maximum number of H+ is available with us. And this is acetic acid. Acetic acid means it's a weak acid. It undergoes only partial dissociation. This is the difference between these two. So I am going to give you today a mixture of two acids. Both hydrochloric acid and acetic acid mixed together will be given to you. And your job is to find out how much of HCl is present and how much of acetic acid is present. And how do you find out? You are going to find out by using sodium hydroxide. So sodium hydroxide, as you know, is a strong base, which I am going to use it for the titration. So when I do the titration with sodium hydroxide, what happens when I am going to add sodium hydroxide to this mixture? Out of these two acids, which one will react first? We know hydrochloric acid, right? Because this is strong acid. So when hydrochloric acid reacts with sodium hydroxide, what happens is it undergoes acid-base titration or neutralization reaction. It becomes NaCl plus H2O. Okay, and once the complete HCl gets over, then your acetic acid will take over and it combines with sodium hydroxide and forms CH3COO Na plus H2O. So this is the reaction taking place, and our job is to find out the amount of both HCl and acetic acid in a given solution, but we are going to do in a different manner, that is by using a conductometric estimation. So what do you mean by conductometric estimation? That means I am going to use an instrument called as conductometer. So today's instrument name is conductometer. As the name says, conductometer measures the conductance of the solution. So I am going to measure the conductance of the solution. So I'll just tell you what do you mean by conductance. So how do you define conductance, or what do you mean by conductance? Actually, you know it's a reciprocal of resistance, right? So when I say conductance, that means the ease of flow of electrons. It's the ease of flow of current, that's the meaning of conductance. So this conductance is not the same for all the solutions. It differs from solution to solution. So for every solution there is a different conductance. Okay, so we can say usually conductance depends upon mainly three factors. The first factor is the number of ions present. Okay, the second factor is the mobility of ions, and the third factor is the size of ions. So these are the three main factors on which the conductance of any solution depends. So conductance of a solution depends upon the number of ions present. As the number of ions increases, what happens? The conductance increases. Then comes the mobility of ions. When I say mobility, that means it's the movement of ions. As the mobility increases, also conductance increases. Okay, clear? But what about the size of ion increases? The size of ion increases, you know, as the size becomes more bulkier, the movement becomes very small, very less, and conductance decreases. So as the size of ion increases, our conductance decreases, we should say. Okay, so these are three factors on which the conductance of a solution depends on, and just remember these three factors. We are going to explain our change in conductance based on these three factors. Okay, that's about conductance. And one more point I want to tell you here. When I say conductance, there are three different types of conductance, like molar conductance, specific conductance, equivalent conductance. And for today's experiment, I am going to measure the specific conductance. Okay, there are three different types of conductance: molar, equivalent, and specific. And I am going to measure here specific conductance. But how can I measure specific conductance? That's the next question. So when I say specific conductance, that means how to define specific conductance? It's the conductance of a solution for a specific volume, I should say. Okay, it's the conductance of the solution for specific volume of the solution. So this is usually found out by using a cell. Here again it's the movement of ions, movement of current. So we refer a cell, and the name of the cell is conductivity cell. I am going to use a conductivity cell. Okay, so this conductivity cell specially designed one. As you know, any cell is made up of 2 electrodes, and this is made up of 2 platinum electrodes. It's made up of 2 platinum electrodes. Okay. So when it is made up of 2 platinum electrodes, this thing is, it's like this. I'll just show you here. See, it looks like this. Okay. And 2 platinum electrodes comes here. These are the 2 platinum electrodes. And the specialty is, these 2 platinum electrodes are kept at a distance of 1 centimeter apart, and its area of cross section is again 1 centimeter square. Okay. So why these specifications are required? Because this particular cell is going to measure the conductance per volume. So when these specifications are there, we know it's 1 centimeter apart, 1 centimeter square area of cross section. That means it's going to measure the conductance in a specific volume or 1 cc of a solution. Okay, so that's about the conductivity cell. So we are going to use conductivity cell to measure the conductance of today's solution. So now we will see how to do the experiment, and then again I will come back and tell you what happens and why that change is happening. Okay, now we get this digital conductivity meter. Okay, there are so many knobs. Don't touch any of the knobs. Everything will be adjusted and given to you. Okay, just see that your readings you can note it down. This display. Okay, so I just want to show you first the electrode. This is our electrode. Okay, this is called as conductivity cell. Okay, so conductivity cell, as I told you, this is a cell which is made up of 2 platinum electrodes. You can see inside here there are 2 platinum electrodes. Okay, and it is fixed inside a glass. Okay, it's fused inside a glass, and it is fixed means it has got a unit distance apart, and its area of cross section is also unity. So this is going to measure the specific conductance of your solution. Okay, so what it is, it's very simple experiment. This is acid mixture given to you. This has got both hydrochloric acid and acetic acid. So you need to find out the amount of both HCl and acetic acid in the given mixture. So I am just going to dip this electrode in a solution, and I have taken here sodium hydroxide, which is standard solution. Okay, standard sodium hydroxide is taken. Standard sodium hydroxide, I just fill in this microburette. Okay, I am keeping it here. Now, as I shown in other experiments, again you need to add 0.5 cc, mix very well and note down the reading. That's what we are going to do. Okay, so here first it's 0. I'm going to add 0.5 cc. You can see what's the change happening. Initially it was at 7.1. Now it is 6.8. So conductance has decreased. Okay, so for the 0.5 cc addition sodium hydroxide, the conductance has decreased, you can see here. For next 0.5 cc again, 0.5 cc addition, you can see again it has decreased to 5.2. So you need to add 0.5 cc sodium hydroxide from the burette. After each addition, mix very well and note down the reading. See, now again it has increased to, decreased to 3.9. Now after this point you see it has increased now. See, it was beginning it was at 7, it came to 5, then it came to 3, then now it has increased to 4.5. That means there is some change. What change is taking place, I will tell you afterwards. Okay. Now there's for another 0.5 cc we will see what's the change happening. Now from 4.8 or something it has come to 5.1. Okay, a small change has happened now. Now again from 5.1 it has gone to 5.5. Now it has come to 6.2. So you need to keep on adding till it comes to 10 cc. The complete will get over. You need to continue this experiment. It has come to 7.5 now. Now you can see there is a large increase, that is from 7.5 it has come to 8.5. So now it has come to 10.1. So a little more large increase is happening now. It has come to 11.4. So continue this till it comes to 10. So that's all about the doing part. So doing part once again I'll explain, is very simple. This is a conductivity meter. So acid mixture is given to you. Sodium hydroxide is also given to you. This is standard sodium hydroxide. You are going to estimate how much acid is present. So just dip this conductivity cell and keep on adding sodium hydroxide 0.5 cc, and after each 0.5 cc addition just mix very well and note down the reading. That's all the doing part. Okay, now I'll explain what is happening here and why this change is happening. Okay, so what I have done just now is I added 0.5 cc of sodium hydroxide, okay, till 10 cc and 0.5 cc of sodium hydroxide, then just noted down the conductance. That's all I did, nothing else, okay. So we have seen there was initially some value, then the value has decreased slowly, then after some time the value has increased and again gone back to 10. So I will plot the graph and show you how the graph looks like. Okay, initially, see when I measured the conductance here, specific conductance against volume of sodium hydroxide, initially I would see there is a sharp decrease. Okay, there is a sharp decrease. Then I have seen the points were slowly increasing for some time. Again I have seen that the points or the conductance has increased like this manner. So this is the way I got the points. Okay, so if I draw, there are three different manners of points here. So I need to plot three straight line graph. First line here, the second line like this, and third line like this. So three straight line graph I am going to draw here, and I get 2 points of intersection. Okay, so I need to plot a straight line graph, take a maximum number of points. So the graph looks like this. Okay, the graph looks like this. Now the first line, what you see, the first line, what is happening? Why the decrease is happening? That's because I told you when you add sodium hydroxide, first HCl combines with sodium hydroxide forms NaCl plus H2O. And the conductance changes we can explain on the basis of 3 factors I told. One is number of ions, mobility of ions, and size of ions, right? So now tell me what is happening in the first experiment, first reaction. Here H plus is getting replaced by Na plus. And as we know, H plus is very small ions. But this H plus is getting replaced by a bulkier ion, that is Na plus. Na plus is more bulkier, so it is getting replaced by Na plus. So what is happening in the size of ions here? The size is increasing. The size increases, as what I told is, the mobility decreases. As the mobility decreases, conductance also decreases. So it is very clearly evident in this graph that initially when you add sodium hydroxide, due to the formation of NaCl, the conductance decreases. That's because the number of H plus ions are decreasing. H plus is getting replaced by Na plus. Clear the first point? Now this decrease will happen. How long the decrease will happen? Till the complete HCl gets over. Once the complete HCl gets over, as I told you, it's a mixture of acids. So once the HCl gets over, who will take over? Acetic acid will take over the reaction. Okay, and acetic acid, as we know, it's a weak acid. So what do you mean by weak acid? Weak acid means the number of ions are less. The number of ions are very less here. But when it combines with sodium hydroxide, what happens? It gets converted to sodium acetate, which is CH3CO minus Na plus. So when I write CH3CO minus Na plus, that means that this is a strong electrolyte. Okay, that means the number of ions are increasing over here. Number of ions are more here. Is it clear what I am telling? So here what's happening? The acetic acid combines with sodium hydroxide and forms sodium acetate, which is a strong electrolyte. Okay, when this is a strong electrolyte, even though H plus is getting replaced by Na plus, but more than the size of ions, the number of ions are increasing here. That's because the weak acid is getting replaced by a strong electrolyte. So weak acid, number of ions are less, but whereas strong electrolyte, the number of ions are more. So what happens to our conductance? Conductance also increases. That's why here we can see a small rise in conductance, because the number of ions are increasing, but the size of ion is increasing. Okay, because of these two countering factors, there is not a deep increase, but it is very small, slight increase is happening. And the second line represents, so this second line represents the neutralization of acetic acid. So first line represents neutralization of hydrochloric acid, second line represents the Now what happens again? Why there's a sharp increase? That's because the small rise will happen as long as acetic acid is present. Once a complete acetic acid gets over, whatever sodium hydroxide we are adding is in excess. Okay, so as the sodium hydroxide, the amount of sodium hydroxide increases, what happens? The number of ions are increasing. OH minus ions are more mobile than Na plus ions. Because of all these factors, the conductance increases. So the first line represents the neutralization of HCl, second line represents the neutralization of acetic acid, third line represents the addition of excess sodium hydroxide. So when you plot these three lines, you are getting two intersection, point of intersection. The first point of intersection shows the neutralization of HCl, the complete neutralization of HCl. Okay. Now second point represents the complete neutralization of acetic acid. Now if you plot a dotted line to your x-axis, okay, so you get here first V1. Now second plot, if you go to take it to the x-axis, you get the second volume, that is V2. So two volumes you are getting at the x-axis. One is V1, which represents the first neutralization. V2 represents second neutralization. So V1, what is V1? When I say V, it is volume. Whose volume? It's the volume of sodium hydroxide, which is required to neutralize a complete HCl. So this from here to here, this volume will give you the volume required for HCl. What about V2 then? V2 means, see, from V1 to V2, you require for the neutralization of acetic acid. So from V1, 0 to V1 will give you the neutralization of volume of sodium hydroxide required to neutralize both HCl plus acetic acid. So if you want to find only for acetic acid, from here to here, that is V2 minus V1 will give you that is required for acetic acid. Okay, clear? So two volumes are getting here, one is V1 and other one is V2. We can see V1 represents the volume of sodium hydroxide required to neutralize HCl. Okay. And V2 is the volume of NaOH required to neutralize both HCl plus acetic acid. So you get the volume of NaOH required to neutralize acetic acid by taking V2 minus V1. This will give you only to neutralize acetic acid. Clear? Now coming to calculation part. Now we got both the endpoints. You got two exactly like two dilation values, like the two values you got here. Two equivalents we got. Now we can use these two equivalents to calculate the weight per liter both hydrochloric acid and acetic acid. I'll show you how to do that. It's very simple experience, simple calculation. In the case of HCl, if you want to find from HCl, take N1 V1 is equal to N2 V2. Okay, let this be for HCl and let this be for NaOH. So in the case of HCl, normality we don't know. Okay, so I am taking the normality of HCl as equal to volume of HCl. You can take the volume of HCl as 50, which will be given to you. Sorry. Okay, this is equal to normality of NaOH will be given to you. Let it be 0.1. What is V2 here? V2 is nothing but the volume of NaOH required to neutralize HCl, which is the same as V1 here. The first one. Okay, so this I am taking it as maybe it is around 3 and this may be around 5. You take it. So take it as 3. Okay, so we can say normality of HCl becomes equal to 0.1 into 3 upon 50. So what is normality here? You get 0.3 upon 50, which is equal to 0.3 upon 50, which is equal to, very quickly, how much you get? Okay, 0.006. 006 or 06? Okay, 006. Okay, so this is normality what you getting. Now how do you find out weight per liter of HCl? If you want to find out the weight per liter of HCl, it is equal to normality of equal weight of HCl, which is equal to normality equal the how much amount of HCl present per liter. It is 0.219 grams per liter. That's the amount of HCl present per liter of the solution. Clear? This is how you find out for HCl. Now, how do you find out for acetic acid? We want to find out for acetic acid, okay? Just nothing else, just replace this volume of sodium hydroxide by the second V2 minus V1. So that will become 5 minus 3 is into 2, okay? And again you need to change this to acetic acid, and this equilibrium becomes 60. If you change these two, you will get the weight per liter for acetic acid. So for acetic acid, you take V2 minus V1 as the volume of equivalence point, and for hydrochloric acid, you take V1 or the first V from the graph as your V equivalence point. Clear? This is how you find out the weight of both hydrochloric acid and acetic acid in the given acid mixture by conductometric estimation. Okay? So it's a purely instrumental analysis where you get the endpoints from the graph. You measure here conductance and you find out the endpoint from the graph. Clear? Yeah. So once after doing the experiment, go for the plotting of graph. From the graph you get the endpoint. Once you get the endpoint, you can come to the calculation part and find out what is the weight per liter. Okay, that's about the experiment. Thank you.